Welcome back to the show. My name is Ogunleke Oluwalose Ifumi, as you all know. And today we'll be diving into a question, not even a topic. A question that says, are we really thinking or we are just consuming? You know, a lot of people have been in this question for a while now. And that is why we actually brought a philosopher that will throw more light to this topic. And I have here with me my co-host, my handsome Bobo. So the person that is here is not complete.
Wow.
Sorry. That one enter you. Mr. Jide, kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. As you all know, Olajide Apata is my name. Yes, thank you.
And we have here with us, like I said earlier, a philosopher, someone that have a different thinking in the society. Let me put it that way, because his ideology is very, very high there. And I have here with me Mr. Glypho Timothy. Yeah. Please, can you little bit introduce yourself as well?
My name is Glypho Timothy, and like you have heard, I'm a philosopher and also an agnostic. And you know, as a philosopher and agnostic, I really don't believe what people like everybody believes. I have a different ideology to things, and when you tell me something, I'm the kind of person that think logically. I don't just accept anything, and that's that for that.
If you like say, now you go ask us questions today.
Because it's your whole introduction now. I don't know what to ask you.
I'm just trying to.
I think I'm lost.
But that was brief.
It was actually brief.
It was brief.
You know, if we were to ask ourselves, what does it really mean to think? Are we just kind of a doer of consume everything that comes to us, or we have to think to reflect of things we need to do as a person in the society or anywhere we find ourselves? And that is why we actually brought this hour. What do you mentioned one English the other time?
Agnostic.
Okay, that one will come on my teeth.
Shama.
So welcome, my brother.
Yeah,
welcome to the show.
Yeah.
So if we were to ask you, I think we're supposed to understand the meaning of thinking and what people are actually doing differently when it comes to thinking as a layman method, I mean layman way of things to definition. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, simply thinking is just a deep observation, of the things around you that enables you to take positive or negative reactions. So, like in our society, people just tend to just believe things, without thinking or observing. Like if you are told a particular thing and then you just accept it, just for how it's being said, without thinking logically or observing, is this thing like truth? Is this a lie? Can this help the society? Can this help my life? And then you just tend to just take it just for the word of just the way it's been given, and sometimes because the masses believes this is truth. And when the lie is being told for a long time, it becomes the truth. It sounds like the truth. Even when you have no evidence, you have no proof. Just because 10,000 people believe it, of course. Because if you don't believe it, the society makes you look like
you're crazy.
You're an infidel. You're crazy. You're stupid. Or sometimes they even say you're possessed. Like religiously, they say you're possessed. So society is just making us feel like we don't really need to observe. Like when you're told something, you need to sit down and
ask questions.
Ask yourself questions. Observe. Is this truth? Practically, is this a lie? And then with that, you should know, if you're to believe it or not. And sometimes you don't even need to believe. You have to, see it, know it, and then I think that will help.
So, like you have said now, since you said most people, because now I don't know what area to come at you from. So now let's look at how people consume information and what they do with it. In the social media space, for example, most people just believe anything they see, especially most of our parents, the older ones. When they go to Facebook, anything they see there, they believe it. So that now brings me to what you have said. Like, are we just thinking or just consuming whatever we get? So now in terms of our parents, do you think whatever information they get out there, they just consume it and then they start sharing to like 50 family members and all of that? Do you think they're really applying they are using their thinking faculty to analyze this thing properly and say, is this what it is? Or they are just doing what they are doing?
Okay, like you need to understand sometimes that our parents grew up in a different society, with a different kind of mindset, religiously, society-wise and and otherwise. So our parents or those people, our uncles and people who are much
Yeah,
more
the
older
older
than
ones.
us, do not really think like us. I believe
Okay.
in this situation, in this state of mind that we all have in this generation, where we have, the ability to think, even more than our parents, because the things our parents knew back then is different from the things we know now.
Because of technology, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
The government, religion, everything is, not really the way it is. Because, our parents back then, when they listened to something, and based on the situation then,
Like they live in a primitive environment.
kind of something like that, based on the situation back then, and, for example, if back then your mother is to pray for you, maybe you're having a headache, and then all of a sudden you're not fine.
Okay.
She now believes that prayer has worked. She believes the prayer has actually made you whole.
Okay.
But because there's no medicine, probably your body might just be, your temperature might just be high, and then, of course, sometimes it might just come down.
Comes
Maybe when you
down,
take
yeah.
water and just, when you just settle down, sometimes because of stress, you might be having headache. But if you rest, you might be okay and all that. So if your mother is to pray during those times, and then you are okay, she now believes Jesus
prayer
Christ,
works.
the prayer has worked.
Okay.
But now, even if you don't pray, right, and then you go to an hospital and then you are treated, you are given medication, you're fine. Of course, you know that it is not prayer,
The
right?
medicine works.
So your mentality now, it cannot be like your mother's own, because
What you're trying to say is, no matter what happens in our vicinity,
yeah,
there must be a question behind it.
of course,
Um,
there's always
A question. And most time, we youth nowadays, let me even put it like 85% of us doesn't even ask questions.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, like we consume a lot of things that just comes our way.
Yeah, and sometimes you really cannot just blame us. Sometimes our parents, just like I use this illustration,
Yeah.
are kind of
Influence.
the problem. Yes, because nowadays, if your mom or your dad, who is religious or probably kind of a different mindset, sees you pressing your phone, like in my area, if like I know of a woman who doesn't like when her son is with a group of friends pressing phone, she thinks he's doing fraud. But
Oh,
that's
okay.
not. We have cryptos.
And
People
the
are
likes.
a lot of people are
A lot
doing
of
stuff,
things, yeah.
and they're making money, right?
Remote works,
So
yeah.
so without, she just, oh, my son is doing this and probably is doing fraud, and then religiously is bad, and he might get into trouble. But that's not the case.
Someone
But
someone just threw a question in from our social media and on
Okay.
Instagram. He said he actually likes what we are talking about because he has been thinking about people thinking and how they consume things in the environment. And he threw a question. The person asked, "Oh, is it he? Okay, she." She said something. She said, "Are we actively engaging with content, or passively consuming it without reflection?"
Well, 80% of teenagers and youth in Nigeria right now, all over the world,
Yeah.
are actually consuming content instead of watching and thinking for themselves. That's why we have a lot of rumors, false news, false information that are really affecting us, because we don't really just think about it. We don't think about it. We just consume it. And when you tell this person tells the other person, before you know it, it's affecting us.
Which means our bloggers, our content creators are actually having a big role in
To
this
play,
aspect.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I
indeed.
was coming to
indeed.
that too.
They're having a big role because they want to make money, right?
Yeah.
They want influence, they want popularity. So they don't care about society. All they want is just to get what they want, give you the wrong information, and you are left with it. You can go and do whatever you want to do with it. And that's how it's being passed to you. Then I pass to the other person, and then that's how we get into trouble.
So in terms of consumption now, consuming information, do you see social media itself has done more harm than good?
Yeah.
In terms of,
Nice
yes,
question.
has done
Yeah,
more harm
in-
in terms
in-
of passing information
Okay.
out, and the people who consume it. How does it make them, have to think critically to know what is good?
Okay,
Is this information good or not?
I think it has done 50-50. It is good,
Okay.
and then, on the other side, 50%, it is really not good.
But do you know me? I always argue on something
because it
that,
has caused troubles.
yeah, me,
And also, it has also passed information that has helped you.
Not
yeah,
right?
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
And every
But
other
do you know?
person.
I always argue that social media actually have 70% of bad things that is happening in the environment. The good one is like 30%. To me, anyway.
I feel because the good is not promoted.
Reason, maybe
The good is not
because reason is this.
patronized
Reason is
as
this.
much as it's
If you
supposed
bring
to be.
like maybe like 100 bloggers now,
Okay.
they will prefer to circulate things that is bad because they will have more
Engagement.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
That falls back to the society. Society really loves bad stuff because they feel and this bad stuff are entertaining, right? So when
How
people
about
like
this
when you
entertaining?
shoot something, that's why children, like little kids, right? They learn insults more faster
Yeah.
than good stuff, because like there's something I used to say about our Hausa language. Sorry.
Okay.
you know,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
like insults in Hausa language, it's really funny to me.
Okay.
And I like it. And someone is saying like it's funny.
Okay.
So when people say it, I find it funny and I laugh.
Do you know how to say it in Hausa?
No, not really. Like, like when you
When
hear
you've
shake
collected
a
enough.
banza,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know,
Something like that.
all those
Okay.
kind of, and lots more that we know, really want to, say out here and all that. So like it's funny, and it falls back to us because that's what we like. So it goes round to what they are giving us because they know we are going to watch it. Sometimes when you're watching a comedy and then you see somebody with a lady almost half naked with big boobs, you want to watch it, right? But for
Yes, so.
younger,
I would
for the-
not. Which one is yes?
Yeah, but that you want to
I
watch
would
it.
not.
yeah, you want, no,
No,
the
I'm that- I'm that-
majority, right? The majority, majority
majority
of people
would.
want to watch it.
You will watch it. Don't mind it.
Me too, I watch it. Yeah, I do watch it. So because why? That's how it is.
Yeah. But
So when
okay.
when you check the views on that video, it is much more than just one random person trying to say something sensitive. And when you see the video, you might just scroll up. But when you just see a video, just like I've described, even without anybody saying anything, the picture you see already makes you want to watch the whole comedy.
I'm
or
very
the
sure.
whole video.
I'm very sure a lot of audience now will be looking at themselves saying, "Nah, true."
Honestly,
A lot
how
of things.
guilty of
A lot
that?
of things that is
I will
happening
ask
around
you one
me.
question.
Yeah.
So,
So what I'm saying essentially is
Okay.
it falls back to us.
okay,
They are giving
good.
us what we want because we are the masses, right? So because they know when they bring this, just like when we're talking about podcasts, we really
Okay.
want, in as much as we want to give information
Yeah.
and teach people and enlighten people,
Yeah.
we want to pick topics that will be catchy. When you just use one random topic and it's not really, you
Nobody
might even
will-
just say one crazy funny stuff that is not really nice,
Yeah, okay.
but just because you want to attract their attention just
Yeah.
then before they get the main information or the message,
Mhm.
you attend to put that topic there.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's not nice.
To the audience, please. Right now, I'm thinking because I'm very sure I've done a lot of things in the past that I don't even think
So,
based on my rational
me,
thinking.
the question with what you said, there
Okay.
was something that captivated me. He says, so before a video starts, for example, there is an attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something that calls you, that brings your attention, calls your attention and say, oh, let me watch this thing.
Okay.
Even if nothing bad is happening at the end of the day.
exactly.
But because you see some attractions,
Yeah.
you're attracted to it. So does that mean that, in the process of passing or disbursing information out to people, should we add a little bit of false, or let's say not necessarily false, or should we add a little bit of shady things to it to attract people to even listen to the good things?
Now, talking to like every social media, a person out, the bloggers and all that, this is what we call niche,
Yeah.
and you have to choose a style in which you have to, attract your audience. Now, it's not bad, because it's just like when you have to flog a child just so he learns. Now, the flogging hurts, right? Then at the end of the day, the mother teaches the child, telling him this thing you're doing is not
It's
nice.
wrong,
And if you do it next time, this is what you get. So in that situation, I think that is what we should be doing. In as much as the message is important, we have to get their attention. Because when you put something out there and at first they don't, they are not attracted to it, they just pass by, they just scroll up, and then you don't get what you want, you don't get the views you want. Your intentions for the information you want to pass and your intentions for the viewers will not be accomplished. It's not being accomplished. So you have to, that's what bloggers are doing. They have studied the mind of the viewers. They know that this is what guys like, this is what women like, and that's why, like this side about
Of the thing,
you
yeah.
can say she just blowed up. That is not her main aim. I don't think that's what she wants to put out there. But you get what?
But she just put that
She
one
wants to be
there.
famous, right? She's a comedian. She wanted that publicity. Then she came up with that stuff. And now I think everybody knows that. And that's her aim. That's
So-
her aim. So for you to get your aim, sometimes you
But
need
she's
to...
not doing comedy anymore.
Yeah, not
Is she
really.
doing comedy
She
before?
has been talking. She's talking.
She's just there,
She's
talk one thing, and everybody
that's-
just engages.
She wants the attention, and she has gotten it. So sometimes to put a good message out there, you need to compromise a little bit, because that's what the world is.
But
all
do you
about.
think being compromised is actually the best thing? Because I'm thinking of we narrow this thing to our personal life in a way that because I have a question here for you anyway. It said our personal values shape more by independent thoughts or by what we consume?
Okay, this is how it goes. Our personal thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Let me use the Bible terms. It says, I don't know if it's the Bible term, but I think it is.
Okay. Go ahead.
It says, what goes in.
Okay.
How does? Can you remind me?
The body ticket, something like that. I
I
don't know.
don't know.
I don't know. I'm not coming out where I do, to be honest.
Comes around.
No, like, no. Okay, thank you. I just remembered.
Okay.
Out of the abundance of the heart.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, the mouth
The
speaketh.
mouth speaketh. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know that, staying with a person that you have not known before,
Okay.
and then probably 2 days or 1 day, it depends on the kind of person you are, or sometimes an hour.
Okay.
Do you know that when the person speaks or talks, do you know it is easy to detect the kind of person
That
the
person
kind
is.
of human being that person is?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, what comes out of us shapes us. That is our personality. What we take in from society really does not help us. That is not who we are. Because what you take in, which is coming from outside,
Yeah.
it gets to your brain.
Yeah.
You observe it, you think about it, and then you shape it. If you have to, like, if you're
On
going
your own
to, on your
way.
own, if you're going to accept it
Or not.
or reject it, and that makes you who you are, which is your personality. You can't just tell me that. Somebody did something, and this is how it goes, and then you might be telling me from your own view. That's why we are different.
Yeah.
If an incident happened, like an accident right there over across the road, and then we have 10 people from there coming to give us information,
Yeah.
I tell you, they are all there at the same time, but they're all going to give us different
And
information.
that's what we call oral source in history.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to you now, do you know that as a human being, hearing from those 5 people, the picture you are going to take is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get your own picture in your head.
And you now go and narrate that one, another story
To somebody
another person that don't
else.
even see the accident at all.
Maybe the car just jammed the person for leg, but you be thinking that it just like
around.
jammed the person. So that will be your picture. Then when you go and be like, oh, more, that's the way it
We have
happened today.
you
Almost
zoom out.
the way it take.
Yeah.
So that is it. Now, what's now coming out of your mouth to the other person is now what you have observed and calculated.
So which means the environment
That
has
is you.
influenced us
Somehow.
in the way we think.
Yes, but it depends. At the end of the day, it does not really influence us. It does if we allow it and accept whatever that is given or that is telling us.
So
So at the end of the day, it now depends on you.
to derive on your own.
Yeah, because sometimes people be like, oh, when you're with smokers before, like, for a year,
smoke.
you start smoking.
I know a
I
lot
have
of
friends that do,
smokers.
like,
Of
for
course, I
years.
don't smoke.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
So because I'm like, why should I even smoke? I don't see reasons. This is not going to help me.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to just try it and then from time to time take it and then not get used to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like, come on, these people, they are just the way they are, just smoking for fun or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. So I don't see how them as the society or as a society is now influencing me. I have taken what they are doing to observation.
Okay.
I have thought about it, and then I say no.
You
Okay.
don't accept
I
it.
don't
It's
accept
not
it.
what
It's
you-
not what I want to do.
Before
Okay.
we proceed with your question, Jide,
Okay.
I want to, the audience are actually listening to us, and I'm very sure they will still have a lot of questions out there. And I'm very sure a lot of questions people will be thinking right now is, because the situation of you or yourself makes you to think in a certain way.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is this: there are some people that have not eaten today, and today is night. Their own thinking on how they consume things will be different than from someone that maybe
Was
there's
eating, right?
food, is eating and the likes. His own thinking too will be different. What I'm trying to say is the situation of where we find ourselves shape our
Also
thinking,
determines
right?
exactly.
So what kind of advice you can give to some certain people that whether you are rich or you are poor, just quickly put the niche out there for people to just learn from.
Well, if you're in a situation that has to shape your thinking, or the way you assume things, or the way you consume information,
Okay.
this is just what it is. You have to think in a position at that time that's not going to hurt you, because even if you're hungry, you're stranded, or you are in whatever bad situation,
Okay.
you still have to think in a way that it's not going to cause you more harm than the one you're already in. So
Good.
you're okay to, like, if I'm hungry now, probably I might be given a kind of food, and all my mind is eat. But if I check that food, and probably it's something that's going to cause me sickness, that'll make me spend more,
More.
or be more harm.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't have to eat that food. I'm not going to be like, I'm in a situation, I'm hungry, then I'll just eat it. Of course, what if I'm going to die?
So to the
So you
audience,
just- you
we,
don't
we
get
need
yourself-
to we need to understand the what we consume, because and if you want to understand what we consume, you have to think on your own way, because there are some things that happen in your own life that's not happening in another person's life. If you are taking another person's advice, might not even works for you. Does that make sense?
If you're taking somebody's advice, not all the time. It
Because
doesn't work.
I used
It
to
doesn't work
believe,
for you all the time.
Yeah, because I used to believe that, do you know, everything that happened in my life might not happen in another person's life till
Exactly.
the person die.
Exactly.
So everybody have their own thinking way. So if you see anything that warrants you to think, I just based on, I believe everything around us supposed to have something we're supposed to think about.
Yes.
No matter what's happening, no matter how, maybe if you want to eat sometime, think maybe this is your last supper.
Well, I believe you wouldn't go for that. So,
Well,
there is this
okay.
question I have. Sorry, there's this question I have. What is the difference between an experience gained from you thinking rationally and an experience gained from you watching other people's experience? So, for example, I don't know if you get the question I'm trying to
I got
ask.
the
All right,
question.
very good. So,
You know, when you think, because sometimes when you think critical, logical, you know, it shapes your consciousness. The society today does not really like people that think logical because you trouble them.
Yeah.
And this is what the society does. The society wants to be comfortable, very comfortable, even if they are doing something that does not work, that is not true, that does not work logically. So if you're thinking like a normal human being, sometimes I feel like you're a god because you're not acting like you're not acting
like what
like
everybody expects.
exactly.
Yes,
You're not just
thinking
the
outside
usual.
box.
You're not just the usual.
Yes.
And I think why it's more advantageous, and also I think that's really helped the world so far, because people who were thinking differently many years ago,
Like
many
Socrates,
exactly.
Aristotle, and the like.
I think they are the
philosophers,
one who have shaped the universe or the world to what it is today. You know, what's his name again? This man that discovered the moon with a telescope and say he's seeing a moon there in the sky, and they were asking him to deny that belief, or else they'll kill him.
Yes.
Thank you, but I believe that has helped us today, scientifically and otherwise. So when you think logically, the society does not want that, because presently it is not affecting to their needs. It is not providing what they want. That is why sometimes we'll be like, oh, you're a Christian, you don't believe in God, you might not go to these places. Some people might not like you, or your belief as as a human being might not take you to some places. People are going to reject you and all that. Which is very okay, because at the end of the day, you are now the kind of people that the higher ones need. Because when you begin to think logical, you're not like every other person. Where you will find yourself later, it's out of the norms.
But if you now look at it in this way, right? From what you're saying, like, do you know there are some people, if you think in some certain way, it's engaged in a conflict in the society, right?
Yeah, it does.
For example, look at this man that propounded the 30 theses in the church era then.
Okay.
What is his name again? I've forgotten his name. He was the one that that's something junior. I've forgotten. He was the one that actually challenged the church. That time that the church were ruling, that he was saying that the church said the world is flat. It was like, no, the world is round. Those kind of things. So that was the engagement that happened then before that now led to Westphalian War of 30 Years War. So do you think that thinking deeply will not bring some kind of conflicts in the society, and that will make a lot of life,
Okay, let me round this up. Now,
Okay.
this is how it goes.
Okay.
Those inventors, those scientists,
Okay.
and all of them, 80% of them do not believe in a God.
Okay.
Do you know that when you have certain beliefs that is not normal in the society, you are different? Because when you believe in a particular stuff, and that thing, religion, whatever it is, has a certain rule, it does not allow you to break out of the normal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So those people were kind of abnormal to the society, but they were not. And that's how they were able to create and fashion most of the, gadgets and, scientific stuff
today.
we are using today. Because they were not thinking normal. They were not just belief, because belief keeps you in a stagnant state.
Yeah.
What
And-
you have said, I Sorry, I have 2 questions for you. Your answer will determine if I should ask the second
It's
question.
all right. It's all right.
You spoke about some philosophers, scientists, and
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, most of them.
So the question now is, do you believe in their works? Do you believe in, or do you support what they do? You support the UK critical thinking and all of that. Do you support what they do? To an extent.
I'm using everything they did.
You're
Most
using
of the things
everything.
that
So that
they
means
made.
That means you support the fact that because most times they're outstanding in their areas, they don't
Exactly.
believe in God. So now the question is,
Most
do you
of them,
believe
but
in
not all
God?
of them. Not all of them. Most of them.
If most of them don't believe in God, I'm asking you a question
No,
now.
it's not even most of them. I'll even tell you like maybe like 99%
Since you
of
support
them.
them and all that, do you believe in God?
Well, it depends on which God, because we have yes we have Chineke, we have Oluwa, we have G, and again even in the Christendom, I feel like they are, I don't know, because they say Jesus is also God.
Yeah.
So when we are saying God and then His Son being also God, which of the God? Which one am I believing in?
Well, I'll see what critical
So which kind
thinking
of
has caused.
guy do you believe in? Like which kind of, maybe it's Sango or it's Oya, or which one of, I think, do
Them
you have
particular-
a belief in
God?
anything?
Now, do you have a God?
Okay, do you have a God?
Do you
Let me
have
put
a
it that
God?
way.
Since critical thinking has
so-
brought us here.
So what makes you think I need to have a belief as a human? Must I have a belief? And if you're
feel-
asking me if I do have a God,
Yeah.
must I have a God? And if you think I need to have a God, tell me why I need a
I
God.
believe this question, the audience, you know
It's
what?
for the audience.
This question will be for another day.
All right.
When we are
For
talking
another
about
day.
when
Beliefs,
we'll be talking about beliefs, gods, goddess, whatever. So that one will be for another day. So if I may ask you, in what way has technology blurred the line between thinking and consuming?
Has it really blocked? Well, it has, because which just the way we have been discussing, it just gives you an information in as much as it makes life easier, but when it comes to thinking, it just gives you information. The information coming to you from the media, from technology, makes it look so real, so authentic, that you don't even need to ask more questions. Every organization today are using social media, technology, and all that.
Yeah,
From the-
robots and the likes.
from
AI and the rest of
politics,
them, yes.
from politics to religion and all that. And when they pass their message, you might be watching somebody, singing, and then they'll say the Holy Ghost has driven that person and is rolling on the floor. But mind you, there's nothing like that there. And now you watching it, seeing that this
You-
person
you
is
should want to do
rolling.
it.
You feel like, come on, this is real.
No, let me tell you something.
This
Let
is
me- no,
real.
let me quickly bust you guys brain with something. Do you know what happened? There was a day I went to, I don't want to mention the church.
Okay.
On getting to the church, so they are praying, everybody's. So this guy too want to fall. Now, so this guy just fall. He hits inside.
Shout.
So chair. So the guy just jump up. So sorry to say, that day I was just thinking that now, if not, imagine you do that thing, you just climb. What will have happened?
That's not even a
To be honest, so because me and my juniors, we were just laughing.
the one that happened in Oyo State, I think the pastor, she was arrested.
Okay.
The man actually died. She was praying for the man, then he just stumbled and hit his head on this church pole, and he died. So I don't know what kind of Holy Ghost or what kind of spirit will just come into his, the midst of his children and start killing people.
Let me ask you one question. Do you think one day?
Or killing
Do you
person.
think one day you have something like a gathering where you have to be enlightening people in kind of way of life? Because it's very, very important. I believe, I think we're supposed to have a pastor here, so that we can be
We will
asking,
soon,
so that
soon.
when you throw your
We'll
own
counter you.
light,
Yeah, it will be-
him to be like, no,
Yes.
the Bible say, kind of
That's why
something
I
like
said
that,
this
because
is
it
for
will be
Bible say,
an interesting topic.
Well, this is, there's something I used to say, like, I don't know why people just feel like you must have a belief. When I tell my mom, I don't believe in religion and all that, she's like, so what do you not believe in?
That's the question I'm asking you.
Like, was I created? Did you born me so I can believe in must I believe something? That's why I'm like, if there's a God, because I'm using the God in context, just because they have fashioned it to be something great.
Yeah. To be
And-
something great.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I'm using that term. So if there is a God, I think after God, the next thing is belief. Because if you fall out of belief, I don't think you have any idea of God. Because God is all about belief. It's a belief system. It is not factual. It is not logical. It is not realistic. Everybody is just having an opinion. When you go to India, they have their own opinion of their God. They have their own heaven.
I think
When you go to
God,
China,
yeah,
it's
no,
the same
no.
thing.
I think we are
God, I
trying.
did not.
I think we are trying. I think now what we are doing now. I think it's
God,
getting
God,
ready.
God,
That's
did
the
not
problem.
say anything.
That's the problem anyway.
Now,
But
do you
we
know
are
what?
trying
Do you know
to-
what
no, we are
drives
trying to
religion
deviate now.
and beliefs?
Let's go back to our thinking. Maybe another day we'll bring you back here to talk about
so,
God and goddess, different kind of God we have, and the one you believe in. So let's talk about something like one that based on education, right?
Okay.
Does education today promote deep thinking in the society, and has it become another form of consumption?
Well,
Let's use Nigeria as a case study.
Okay,
Don't let
okay.
us use
yeah.
other.
sure.
Yeah, let's use Nigeria as a case study.
Well, when it comes to practical
Okay.
and something you have to do practical,
Okay.
which is I think 30%, it does, but 70% it doesn't,
Mm.
because I think everything in school have education has brought to us or taught us, especially falling down to this generation
Yeah.
that we have seen. I don't think it's helping anybody.
Absolutely, I can agree.
Because-
I can actually agree to
Well,
that.
I don't
Trust me.
agree 100%.
No, it's not 100%.
Yeah.
That's why I use that for 70.
Okay.
Because when you come to the terms of why do we go to school? If you say to attain knowledge, why do you need that knowledge?
Yeah.
It all falls back to making money
Yeah.
and become rich.
And this is my own question. Sorry to just cut you
Okay.
off like that. This is my own question. The people that propounded mathematics, which says anything multiply at the multiplication table have to be double, right? There was a day I was asking my wife. I said, they said this thing's supposed to be double. Why is that 1 times 1 is 1?
Okay, now.
So, to my own belief, they propound that based on what is happening at the moment. So the theory will work for what they are trying to propound. That's why they have to bring out that thing. It works for them that time. And that's why scientists will come today and tell you that, oh, this thing doesn't work anymore. This is the new method. So they are finding
There's
a
new
they are
formula
finding
for
a
this,
new
there's
formula
new-
based on what is happening
What's
at the
working
moment
for
or
them.
what they are working on at the moment. And that's why I believe that sometimes education is just false
Okay.
because it can be changed anytime.
have you ever heard of the word the matrix?
Yeah, of course.
Where I think education is just the matrix. Everything that's been taught in school, 70% is not helping anybody.
Yes.
It's just a tool to make you believe in a particular system.
And that's one of the reasons I actually believe in practical than theory.
Thank you.
Yes.
If a
Well,
person
speak.
acquires, let me use the word handwork,
Okay.
which is practical. If you have customers and people know you, anytime you're being needed, depends on what it is, the craft you're doing. You're being called, you do your job, and then you get paid, right? Do you know that everything you're being taught in school, if it's not practical, maybe theory and all that, those mathematics and all that, what do you think it can actually give you? What kind of job can it give you in this country? Since we are based
Using
on
Nigeria,
Nigeria,
yeah.
right?
When you be having
What kind of
2x times 2y is equal
See.
to y, find x.
Unfortunately, it's so sad. It's so sad that at the end of the day, when you're done with education in Nigeria, eventually be a slave to somebody.
Absolutely.
Most times, who never went to school.
That's correct. Even in the large society, even look at it very well. In the large society,
So
trust me.
it's just it's crazy.
I-
And do you know why?
Mm.
Education, even in the Western world, is used as a tool because they understand that if everybody, is not educated and then everybody just doing stuff, social media, doing business and they're making money, who will now be bigger than one person? Because in the United States, you have people who are very, very high businessmen.
Yeah.
If you look at their educational background, it's not really strong.
So are you saying that education is actually a tool to synchronize people's mind in one direction?
Well, I think that's the mind of the inventor because we need workers. I can also use the word like we
And
need,
we need
slaves. We need slaves.
Modern
So-
slavery.
Yeah,
So-
modern slavery. Yeah.
So if a businessman who has 1 billion naira as a net worth, and then we have every other person in a state probably who has 1 billion naira as a net worth, who's going to work for the other person? You need someone that can collect 200,000 a month to come and work for you, and that's the person that went to school who has a certificate. And guess what? You might not. Most of the times, they might not even employ you without that certificate.
So are you saying education is not helping, like, to your own knowledge?
To my
Like,
own
in the
knowledge,
society,
to my
It's not helping us
to my
think
own knowledge, I think
it's not helping us to think
critically.
deeply,
Yes.
critically. Yeah.
We'll just accept what they give us. Because for me, talking about this education thing, I feel in Nigeria there should be specific courses we do.
that
It's not every course,
that actually
yes.
attain or that form
Yes.
the line of our
Yes,
society.
Yes, there's
Absolutely correct.
specific courses.
Now,
Not
look at-
everything
look at-
Nigeria should
Thank
kick
you.
as a
Look
course.
at how education works. When you're in nursery school, you do some subjects.
Mm-hmm.
You get to primary school, you do some subjects. You leave some behind.
Yeah,
You get to
you are changing.
secondary school, you leave some behind. You pick up with some others. When you get to senior secondary school, you leave some behind, and then you get to the university. Then you are doing few courses. Now, all those things you have done and you have left behind, do you know it was all a waste of time?
You never needed
20
them.
years.
Yes.
You never needed them. They are not
Honestly.
going to follow you to the university, and you can never make use of them in your life.
Till you
It
die.
will not make you a penny. But if you use those years that you have wasted, probably started a
So I
trade.
beg to our audience, our guy here is telling us that we should not go.
No.
No. This is how it
This
works.
said don't go to-
This is how it works. See, most people or some people go to school for fun, and some people for show off. And if your father has money, it's good. I don't advise anybody to hustle, struggle, sweat, and then use the same money, go to school. After 7 years, 12 years, 20 years, you come out and start looking for a job. Probably that's when you start learning a trade. That's a huge waste of time. That's bullshit. That's crazy.
So it's better for
Imagine somebody who just finished school coming to ask you for 10K. And you
And
didn't
how
went
much
to
did
school.
you spend as your school fees?
Yes, and you didn't went to school, but you're making money because you need to study yourself.
I
Like,
mentioned that
to know
before
what
in this show.
what
Yes,
you
we
what you will
spoke
become.
about
I was like, to an extent, our parents they did a lot of advoc to the way we grow up, because there was a day that we brought a guest here, so we are talking about how you can study your child and actually determine what your child will do in the nearest future. Because I mentioned that education is not meant for everybody. For example, now, someone that wants to be a painter, why can't you just start that as early as possible?
Yes.
So that you can achieve more in the society,
And in the process
and you not
of
go
that,
and
you
waste
can
20
still go to
years,
school if
and
you
not go
choose
and
to.
waste 20 years.
Yes.
But to an extent, education help, because this is it. There are some large way that education helps sometimes. For example, if you go to school, there's something we call kinetics of how to get things done.
Experience.
Not experience.
Okay.
How to get things done. For example, if I'm selling a sound, yepe, I'm selling it, right? And I'm a little bit educated. The way I'll be selling it will be different from someone that did not go to school. Trust me. Absolutely correct.
That would be experience.
My packaging, the way I talk to my clients, the way I get some things done, the way I seal deals and the like, it will be different from someone that don't go to school. I know of a guy. This guy is a billionaire. He's very, very rich. He doesn't go to any school, right? He's in this Abuja, very, very rich. But the way this guy actually handle his own things, even sometimes irritates me. I'm telling you, imagine they are bringing a job of maybe 400 million. There was a day they were talking about 300 million job. That hey, we want you to help us to do this thing. He was just talking like, oh, don't want to be done. It was, it was so it was not.
That ethics.
Do you
was
get?
not really there.
For example, someone like me that maybe someone that just coming to Nigeria for the first time, I want to give someone that doesn't go to school a job to get it done for me, right? And the person is not showing me that kind of package, like the things I want to see. That I'll be like, this person is not
There
serious.
should be formality.
Even me, that I'm the guy's friend, I was like, guys, sometimes don't
Shame for them.
Yeah, do you get? I shame for him.
Yeah, sometimes I get
So
that
there's
shame when I'm close to.
so to an extent, education works, but to me, I believe that the only education a child is supposed to have is primary and secondary school. If you now want, you just say, okay, go to university. Because a lot of people that actually go or went to university is useless. The reason is this. Someone that studied mechanical engineering and still looking for the roadside mechanics to come and fix his car.
You wasted effort.
It's just a wasted of, do you get?
Let me tell you something. Do you know that it all falls back to this topic?
Okay.
Now, do you know that you've also met people, we have all met people who went to school very well, and then they're still acting the same way this guy is acting?
Yeah.
Some of them are even more weirder. Do you know that?
Yeah.
So it's all about your mind. There are people who are illiterate, but they are decent. When you see them, the way they talk, you feel like, you ask them, what school did you attend? I'd be like, maybe primary school or secondary school, and that's
So
it.
do you think it now boils down individual how you grow yourself?
It's your mind. We have all gone. We have been in schools, right?
Yeah.
You have met people, and some of them you even imagine like, why are you wasting school fees?
Do you know, if you want to be talking about this thing, trust me, we use 2-3 hours. So if I may ask you, how can you now summarize all what we've said here today to the audience in just like 2 words?
Well, I think if you're thinking, think is not just like they do say think once, think twice. I think you should think thrice. And then when you're thinking, you need to observe.
So to our audience out there, please, I believe we should leave you with the word of you have to think
Once, twice,
Think once,
and
think
twice.
twice, think
So
twice.
please,
3 times.
please, till we'll be meeting you next week. I remain my name, Ogunlekele Aloshe Ifumi, and my black shiny boy.
Yeah, Olajide Apata. I did not talk too much today because we wanted to learn.
I'm telling you.
Yes,
So
please.
to our audience, to our audience,
Yeah, I'm grateful,
thanks so
Timothy.
much, and please thanks our philosopher, philo. Please
Philo.
think once, twice,
and
and
think
thrice
thrice.
if
Think
possible.
3 times.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.